Hello, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about a topic that people ask about quite frequently. Can a narcissist actually cry? Can they really feel pain like everyone else? The answer to that is yes, actually. Narcissists do experience real emotions, even though they often play the victim or act as if they're the ones who have been deeply wronged in every situation. That exact same sensitivity that allows them to play the victim so effectively also makes them incredibly easy to wound underneath it all. A narcissist's ego is remarkably fragile, and almost anything can bruise it if you know where to press. Some things only scare them a little bit here and there. Other things can do real, lasting damage to how they see themselves at their core. And if that blow happens to come from someone the narcissist actually looks up to, it can be absolutely devastating for them. Nothing hurts a narcissist more than a direct challenge to their pride or their intense need for control over a situation. It doesn't matter at all if that challenge happens out in public or behind closed doors in private. It still stings just as much either way, no matter the setting. In simple terms, narcissists build their own misery from the ground up. They do it through constant lying, through pretending to be something that they're not, and through a deep, lingering sense of insecurity underneath the surface. None of this would matter much to anyone else except for the fact that narcissists see themselves as completely untouchable in their own minds. So the very moment they feel challenged in any way, they immediately want payback for it. In their mind, everyone else should carry the heavy weight of their pain, and never them personally. I've also noticed that narcissism gets talked about more and more as a real mental health issue these days, and rightfully so. What narcissists actually need from the people around them is compassion and patience, even if that's hard to offer. Right now, the narcissist in your life is likely acting in a very hypocritical way, saying one thing and doing another entirely different thing, while completely counting on your kindness to give them yet another chance to prove themselves. That's exactly why they stay so vulnerable to being hurt in the first place. So let's not waste any more time on this. Here are 3 sure ways that people end up hurting a narcissist's feelings, whether they mean to or not. The first way is being pushed aside and left out of things. Narcissists simply cannot handle being told the truth about their flaws, no matter how gently it's delivered. Even the smallest criticism cuts them deep, because their skin is remarkably paper thin underneath the confident exterior. They're absolutely terrified of being alone, because they survive entirely on a diet of constant praise and attention from the people around them at all times. A narcissist simply cannot function properly without others constantly feeding their ego in some way. And here's the hard part to accept. Once you get pulled into their world, it becomes very difficult to break free from it entirely. These days, narcissists have an easier time than ever before thanks to social media and instant messaging technology. They've built a kind of online fantasy world for themselves, where they get endless praise without ever having to be physically present with anyone in real life. This lets them keep relationships going that would normally fall apart for most other people without real face-to-face contact between them. A narcissist, though, can live off a steady stream of likes, comments, and compliments online just fine. For now, that's enough to keep their shallow fantasies and twisted needs alive and well. Stop giving them emotional reactions of any kind. The second thing a narcissist fears most is being exposed for who they really are. I've already covered this topic in an earlier video, so I won't go over everything all over again here in detail, but it's well known that narcissists care a great deal about their image above almost everything else. They'll tell lie after lie just to protect that image at any cost. Their whole life becomes a performance meant to convince people they're more successful, more interesting, and more impressive than they really are underneath it all. So when that carefully built image starts to crack in front of others, the pain must be truly unbearable for them to experience. Watching their whole fake world fall apart in front of everyone is truly one of the worst things that can happen to them. Build an independent and happy life for yourself instead. The third and final thing that truly affects a narcissist is being insulted directly. Narcissists are actually very aware of how their own words affect other people around them. They know exactly what they're doing when they use dishonest and manipulative words to hurt someone intentionally. But turn that around on them, and a narcissist cannot handle even honest, fair criticism aimed in their direction. Being completely truthful with a narcissist is almost seen as a crime in their eyes, strangely enough. This happens all the time with them. Any criticism of the image they've carefully built gets taken as a direct personal attack against them. You'll start to notice that narcissists are especially sensitive to insults, because deep down inside, they're already incredibly insecure and anxious about themselves. Unfortunately for them, they always have some flaw hiding underneath the surface somewhere. And that's simply the sad truth of the matter. Things don't look good for them once their real self gets exposed to the world around them. They often struggle to understand even simple, basic ideas about themselves and their own behavior patterns. So in the end, these are the three things most likely to truly affect a narcissist in a negative way. Once you look closely at them, their weaknesses become completely obvious to see. They're sneaky, they manipulate people around them, and underneath all of that performance, they're scared and insecure at their very core. That's really everything I wanted to share with you today on this topic, so I'll wrap things up here for now. I hope all of you have a great rest of your week, and thank you for taking the time to listen to all of this. Now let's talk about the best way to truly get back at a narcissist in your life. Nothing makes a narcissist more jealous and envious than watching you move on and find true happiness without them in the picture at all. That's honestly the worst thing you can do to them, because it fills them with intense envy they can't quite shake. Narcissists cannot find happiness on their own, no matter how hard they try. Even the ones who are financially successful or highly accomplished in their careers never feel truly satisfied because nothing is ever enough to fill their constant need for attention and praise from others. Narcissists get a strange kind of satisfaction from watching other people suffer around them. Seeing someone else feel sad or broken makes them feel a little less alone in their own emptiness, even if it's just for a fleeting moment in time. Keep in mind that narcissists try to make life difficult for everyone around them, more or less as a rule. The old saying that misery loves company describes them perfectly, really. But remember this above all else. Your own mental and emotional health matters far more than anything a narcissist thinks or does about you. Narcissists can sense right away when you're hurting inside, almost instinctively, and they can also tell when you're holding on to resentment or if you're still open to forgiving them despite everything. They look for that specifically because that's exactly what makes you an easy target to pull back into their cycle once again. So keep your distance from narcissists and from the people who support them, who are sometimes called flying monkeys, because they'll do everything they can to keep you feeling small and stuck in place. If you want to protect yourself from a narcissist, the healthiest step you can take is to stop engaging with them and with the people who back them up entirely. Keeping them around, even just a little bit, only slows down your own healing process considerably. Of course, how long that healing takes depends entirely on how much damage was done to you in the first place by the relationship. If you do have to interact with a narcissist despite trying your best to avoid it, staying emotionally steady throughout is key to protecting yourself. One helpful approach is to treat them as if they're completely invisible and simply walk right past them without giving any reaction at all. The most powerful thing you can do is stay quiet and keep your own peace intact, because narcissists genuinely struggle to understand a person who refuses to engage with them in any way. Narcissists often go looking for their old victims just to bring up old arguments again and again out of nowhere. They expect that life without them has been incredibly hard for you, and they want to see you struggling because that makes them feel powerful and important again. Once a narcissist realizes you're no longer interested in their game of back and forth with them, they lose that sense of control over you. They actually enjoy watching you spiral into anger, resentment, and a need for revenge, because that keeps you stuck in their web indefinitely. And staying stuck in those feelings of helplessness only keeps you trapped in the situation for even longer. At the same time, if you carry a negative outlook on life going forward, you may end up attracting more negativity into it without meaning to. If you want to truly change your life after going through narcissistic abuse, you need to be willing to shift the way you think, the way you feel, and how you grow as a person overall. Set firm boundaries and walk away when you need to. Always try to stay brave in every single part of your journey forward, no matter how hard it gets. When narcissists see someone they once hurt doing well in life, it can actually trigger deep feelings of sadness or jealousy inside them. Even if they act happy for you on the outside for appearances, deep down in their minds, they may still resent you for how much damage their own actions caused to the relationship in the first place. If you manage to keep your inner light burning bright despite everything they put you through, it tends to make them even more frustrated and hostile toward you as a result. It becomes very hard for them to accept that you've moved forward and built a better life for yourself without them. Choosing to treat a narcissist as if they don't matter to you at all is one of the fastest ways to upset them deeply. It likely causes them real emotional distress, even if they never show it openly to you or anyone else around them. Around this time, you may notice the narcissist starting to circle back into your life, testing the waters and looking for a way back in somehow. Getting close to a narcissist again can be very risky for your own well-being. So, unless they genuinely apologize and admit they were completely wrong for how they treated you, it's best to keep that door firmly closed and simply ignore any attempts they make to reopen it. Sometimes they'll try a romantic gesture or a sudden sweet moment to win you back and make you doubt your decision to walk away, only to return to the exact same harmful patterns once you let your guard down again. If you know a former narcissist is watching your progress from a distance, it's best to keep your distance completely from them. Your worth doesn't depend on whether they ever recognize it at all. Your success and growth becomes a source of jealousy for them because it reminds them of their own shortcomings and the fact that they'll never truly match your depth, your quality, or your emotional growth as a person. Thriving despite everything you went through with narcissistic abuse is the greatest form of payback there is, honestly. So protect your inner calm and your inner light. And don't let anyone take that away from you ever again. I hope everything I shared today helps in some way. I wish you a peaceful and good week ahead, and I'll see you again in the next video. Now let's move on to 9 signs that suggest a narcissist actually likes you and wants you back in their life again. One important behavior to understand here is something called hoovering. This is a form of emotional manipulation that a narcissist uses when they sense they're losing their grip and control over you completely. The term hoovering comes from the idea of sucking something back in quickly and forcefully, like a vacuum. It's simply another tactic to pull you back into the cycle of abuse so they can continue using you for their own needs going forward. From their self-centered point of view, the story is always the same one. They'll believe that you were the one who ended things with them because they stopped caring about you the moment the honeymoon phase ended between you. It's a very common pattern which starts with a good first impression, followed by behavior that turns unpleasant over time as things progress. So how do you actually recognize the signs that a narcissist is slowly draining your energy from you? Stick with this video until the end, because I'm going to walk you through 9 clear signals that show a narcissist is exploiting you. The first sign is that narcissists act as if nothing has ever changed between you at all. A narcissist may try to win back a victim by suddenly reaching out again out of nowhere, months or years later. Any message that feels overly sweet, overly nostalgic, or simply too kind to be genuine deserves a much closer look before you respond. Instead of wasting your energy trying to figure out what they really want from you, pay attention to the pattern itself instead. They'll often talk to you as if everything is completely normal and encourage you to just move past whatever happened between you. This might look like a funny text message or a phone call just to check in on your day, seemingly innocent. Former partners of narcissists have described being approached at work with lines about how they miss the old days when you used to walk them to their car or bring them coffee or something along those lines entirely. Another common example is an unexpected bouquet of flowers showing up out of nowhere with no warning. Narcissists almost never take real responsibility for their actions or make a genuine effort to fix things between you, and that's actually one of the defining traits of the disorder itself. Instead, they simply choose to act like nothing bad ever happened at all. This entire performance is really just a way to keep their image intact for the people watching them on social media and elsewhere. At the same time, they're trying to convince you that the relationship never really ended in the first place. The second sign is that narcissists are famous for apologizing without ever truly meaning it at all. Remember, narcissists rarely change in any lasting way whatsoever. So before you consider forgiving them or giving them another chance, really think it through carefully and ask yourself if their apology actually feels honest to you. There's often a quiet thread of dishonesty running through this kind of hoovering behavior. It can be subtle, but very effective at pulling you back in. If you want to test their sincerity, try gently pushing back or changing the subject entirely. If they react with anger, that's a strong sign their apology was never real to begin with at all. Narcissists are deeply self-focused people who put their own wants ahead of everyone else's needs, and they'll keep using these tactics for as long as they keep working on you. Be cautious of people who fake remorse, because there's usually something they want to gain from doing it. That fake apology is just another manipulation tool in their toolkit. A real, honest apology usually leads to real change in someone's future behavior over time. So try not to overthink your choices right now too much. You're allowed to make your own decisions about this. The third sign is that narcissists will promise you eternal love and total devotion out of nowhere. Love bombing is one of their favorite weapons to use against you. They'll express deep affection and share their feelings in a way that feels incredibly intense all at once. For a narcissist, bringing up old memories is a key strategy for winning your love back from you. They tend to exaggerate how meaningful those memories were, using their own inflated self-image to make the moment feel bigger than it actually was at the time. They might say things about how they could never find anyone better than you, or how no one else makes them feel the way you do. Big dramatic emotional gestures might make you feel more at ease around them again. But every time they express this so-called love, what they really want is for you to give in and come back to them. Even after everything that happened between you, these false claims of love just keep coming regardless. If you're in a relationship with a narcissist, they'll use the word love as an emotional tool to keep you from leaving them for good. The fourth sign involves narcissists making promises they have no intention of ever keeping at all. This is all part of that love bombing strategy they use. They'll try to reassure you with big sweeping statements about the future. They might talk about marriage, offer to buy you a car, or suggest taking a big trip together somewhere exotic. The truth is, there's almost no chance they'll actually follow through on any of it whatsoever. Narcissists are really only looking out for themselves at the end of the day, which is exactly why their word cannot be trusted at all. None of this is your fault, and you shouldn't blame yourself for how you felt or reacted to any of it over time. Those promises were never really about you in the first place, honestly. Keep that in mind going forward. Everything a narcissist does is ultimately meant to deepen your reliance on them for as long as possible into the future. The fifth sign shows up when a narcissist cannot reach you directly anymore, so they turn to other people instead to get to you. A narcissist will go to great lengths to pull you back into their life somehow. One common method is staying close to your family, checking in with your parents often and telling them how much they appreciate you as a person. They may also use your children to brag to others about how wonderful you are and how much they claim to miss you deeply. Watch out for this hoovering tactic where they try to get closer to your personal life by reaching out through people you already trust completely. They might also send loving messages through these go-betweens instead of directly. This usually happens because you've stopped responding to them directly yourself. The sixth sign is when a narcissist tries to win your sympathy by playing the victim card. People who lean toward narcissism often have a flair for the dramatic in everything they do. They can spend a lot of time feeling sorry for themselves, and they're very good at inventing fake emergencies or crises just to pull your attention back toward them once again. It's not unusual for them to exaggerate or even completely make up a family tragedy, like a death, just to gain your sympathy for them. Their intense emotional displays usually come from their constant need for attention and admiration from others. As much as their focus is on you specifically, they also crave being the center of attention in general, wherever they can get it. Most of the time, this tactic is simply a way to grab your attention by ramping up how alarmed or worried you feel about them. Spreading false information and rumors is something narcissists are especially skilled at doing, which leads us to the seventh sign. This kind of manipulation may eventually be used against you as they try to twist reality and damage your reputation to make themselves look better in comparison. They'll try to rewrite history and convince others that you were a problem all along in the relationship. They want to make sure that they control the narrative completely, leaving you isolated and doubting your own experiences while they play the part of the innocent party who was mistreated the whole time.